because many devotees have been writing to me asking, what do we do? So what should we do? Should we do it? Shouldn't we do it? We know at this time many of our loved ones unfortunately have also passed on due to the coronavirus and in previous times. So what should we do in trying to honor them? So let's hear first, we'll read through this particular verse and we'll see what Prabhupada is advocating. It's needed because it's one of the dharmas. So remember, at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam praja aham tom sarva papebhyo mokshashyami ma shuchaha. So he's saying, just surrender to me. Aham tvam sarva pap. I'll take all your sinful reactions away, and moksha, I'll give moksha. Ma suchaha, don't fear. So Krishna gave that benediction to Arjuna because Arjuna was quoting all the different dharma shastras, 20 dharma shastras. So one of the dharmas falls under this category of doing the Shraddha rites, Runa, it's called Runa. So we have our obligations when we are born to the Rishi Runa. We have to honor the teachers, the rishis, the saintly people. How do we do that? By distributing their knowledge and applying their knowledge to our lives. Then Matra Runa, Pitru Runa, to mother and father. So how do we do to father? During this time for father, just in case he's gone, because we don't know where our loved ones are gone. So just in case he's gone to a place like the ancestor Loka, then this Pitru, the son, does the offering. Otherwise, the father will go to a hellish planet called Puta. One of the different hellish planets they are, given in the 5th canto Bhagavatam, towards the end. So one of the planets are called Puta, and the son who delivers the father is called Pitru. So who should offer this, and how should we offer this as devotees now? Because we can see it is a Vedic dharma that one should do this. It's an obligation. But as a devotee now, what should we do? Because as a Krishna devotee, Krishna is saying, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo, sarva dharman parityaja, abandon all these varieties of dharmas. Because we only practicing the dharmas that we know and we familiar with. But if we actually a Vedic person, we should follow all the dharmas. But we've become selective. I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. That is not dharma. That is not dharma. So to cover all our bases, better surrender to Yagyaraj or Yagya Purush, who all these different dharmas are done for. That is Vishnu or Krishna. So better surrender to him. If he's saying, forget all of this and just surrender to me, better just do that. Otherwise, if we're just going to be selective, then, because in Kali Yuga at this day and time, who can follow all the dharmas? We don't even have the bona fide priests to execute these dharmas for us. We may have the desire to do it. Where's the bona fide priests who can do these yagyas for us? Just look, this one yagya, this one pin shraddha, there's only one temple in the whole of India that does it, this Vishnu Ekapada temple. Therefore, everybody has to go there. Now, how many people can go there? It was quite a yagya to get there. You asked the devotees. We had a train ride and everything because it's very difficult. So it's important that we understand philosophically and culturally the basis and the circumstance and do what is best. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is advocating a certain methodology that should be applied as devotees. So let's see this verse. So it's chapter 1, text number 41. And the Sanskrit verse goes, Shankaro narakayava kula ghananam kulasyacha patanti pitro hiesam lupta pindodaka kriyaha. So translation, When there is increase of unwanted population, a hellish situation is created both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. In such corrupt families, there is no offering of oblations of food and water to the ancestors. So you can see Arjuna is making the argument here that if we kill all these warriors, then the family tradition is going to be broken. And if the family tradition is going to be broken, who is going to offer pinda for all these warriors here? What's going to happen to them? Because the woman will become polluted because they're not protected. And then who is going to offer pinda for, there is no sons after that. And if there is no sons, and if the traditions are broken, who is going to offer for all these warriors here? So you see what Arjuna's concern is, and it's the same observation we're doing today. So let's see Prabhupada's purport. Prabhupada says here, according to the rules and regulations of fruitive activity. That is the first most important point. What is fruitive activity called in the Vedas? It is called karma kanda. And if you know the yoga ladder, it is the right bottom rung of the yoga ladder. It's the first step that we take. Karma kanda, then we do karma yoga, then after karma yoga, jnana yoga, after jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, meditation or astanga yoga, and then bhakti yoga. So it's the first step. So Prabhupada is saying here again, let's read that first line again. Prabhupada is saying, according to the rules and regulations of fruitive activity. So we as devotees, we're not doing fruitive activity. We're not doing karma kanda. We are doing bhakti yoga. Karma kanda was the first rung. That's why we are transcending it. It's not that it's not important. Very important. But because we are doing bhakti and we are following Krishna directly, then sarva dharman parikyaja, we abandon all the other varieties of dharma. So that's the first point. Prabhupada goes on to say, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers. So he's acknowledging this. He's saying, don't think this is not supposed to be done. It's supposed to be done, but only for those who are following karma kanda, fruitive results. If you're following bhakti, it's not needed. Krishna is saying that because we are following Krishna, and Krishna has said, sarva dharman parityaja, abandon all these different dharmas. So that's why we don't do it. But Prabhupada is not undermining it and saying it's not important. He's saying it is important, but for us as devotees, it's not relevant. Do you understand that point? It's very important. Prabhupada then goes on to say, there is a need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. So Prabhupada is acknowledging this point. Next sentence. This offering is performed by worship of Vishnu. So who is being worshipped here? Vishnu. Vishnu Ekapada temple. This temple there in Gaya is the Vishnu temple. That's where everybody is going to do their offerings. So if you're worshipping Vishnu every day, don't you think that he understands that this is what you want to offer his ancestors? Don't you think he understands you want to offer to your ancestors? So he's acknowledging here that this is for Vishnu. Prabhupada next says, because eating the remnants of food offered to Vishnu can deliver one from all kinds of sinful activities. Krishna, where does this come from? Where is Prabhupada quoting that from? Bhagavad Gita 3.13. Yagya shishta shena shanto muchayanti sarvikil bishai bhujanti ye agham papam ye pashanti atmakaranat. Krishna is saying there, Arjun, Yagya Shishta Shina Shanto. Those who are Shanto or saints, Santa, saints, they do Yagya. Yagya Shishta Shina Shanto. They do Yagya. how do they do yagya? Muchayanti sarvikil bishai, by offering their food. That means every day they're doing yagya. And why do they do that? Bhujanti ye agham papam. Why? To free it from the papam, from the sin that is in that food. One may say, but I'm not eating meat items or anything like that. How is it sinful? Well, how did the person get the food in the first place? For you to get that apple, the farmer must have plowed the land. What if he killed insects and animals there? Worms that toil the ground. And then the truck drivers bringing the fruit to the shop. How many insects got killed on his screen while he's driving? And what if he killed an animal on the road to bring that fruit to the shop to you? The law of karma is very complex. And why are we offering it to Vishnu? Because he is free from karmic reaction. Why are we offering to Krishna? Because he is free from karmic reaction. Where does he say that? 4.14. Na mam karmani limpanti na me karma phalaspriyaha iti yo mam bhajanati karma bhir nasa badhyate. So Krishna is saying, I am free from the laws of karma. How? Because it doesn't act on him. He created it. So if you offering to him, it's prophylactic. It becomes sanctified. So this is why we're offering to Vishnu. So Prabhupada is making that point. That's why we offer to Vishnu. Then he goes on to say, sometimes the forefathers may be suffering from various types of sinful reactions. So especially if a loved one has committed suicide, there's serious sinful reaction for that, because they will be in a ghostly feature and they'll not have a human form because they just rejected the human form. Out of deep emotional trauma, pain, they committed suicide. So they rejected the human form. So why they'll give another one? They'll not, by the laws of nature, you'll not get another human form right now. So you have to go to some austerity and difficulty. So that is where most of them end up, in this Pitruloka place. And then from there now they're suffering there with nothing being given to them. No water, no nothing. So that's why they offer tarpana, water and til. Til is sesame seed. So they offer that. So Prabhupada is saying here, due to sinful reactions, and sometimes some of them cannot even acquire a gross material body. You see, because you just rejected that body, or you're so sinful, you don't deserve another human form of life. So it's serious. So what can be done? And are forced to remain in subtle bodies as ghosts. So this is Prabhupada is saying this. They are forced into this situation. Thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from the ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. So this is how you release your forefathers, by offering this kind of prasadam. First offer to Vishnu, then offer to your ancestors. So this is the procedure that is done. So let's see what Prabhupada goes on to say. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition. So this is why Arjuna was so concerned on the battlefield, that if you destroy this, you're going to destroy all this tradition as well. Are you ready for that? And Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. Just surrender to me, Arjun. And then he goes on to say, now Prabhupada makes the most important point of this purport, so please observe and listen carefully. So Prabhupada says here, and those who are not in devotional life are required to perform such rituals. So if you're not a devotee of Krishna, you're not practicing devotional service, you must do these rituals. But if you're a devotee of Krishna and you're performing devotional service, then Prabhupada says here, one who is engaged in the devotional life is not required to perform such actions. So you can see why we don't do this. We're not required to perform this because every day we are doing offering to Vishnu. We don't do once a year. We do every day. So surely our ancestors are getting part of that. And Prabhupada confirms this. He says here, simply by performing devotional service, one can deliver hundreds and thousands of forefathers from all kinds of misery. Not one or two, hundreds and thousands. Somebody sent me a nice article yesterday saying that just in 9 generations of family people, there are 4,000 members there already. Just in 9 generations with the sons, grandchildren, their children. Just in 9 generations of family, 4,000 people. So which one of them do you remember? You remember Aja, Aji, Nana, Nani, Appa, Amma. You remember them. But those who are great-great-grandfather, and then what about those people that you don't remember? And they probably are the ones that are sitting there in this Pitruloka. So who's helping them? But by being a devotee, Prabhupada says hundreds and thousands of family people. Just being a devotee. So Prabhupada says here, it's stated in the Bhagavatam, Devarishi bhutapta niram na kinkaro nayanrin charajan sarvat manyaha saranam gato mukundam pariritya kartam. Translation, anyone who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all kinds of obligation. You see? So this is where Prabhupada is basing. It's not because we Hare Krishna, we don't follow this. There's a Shastric evidence that if you once take shelter of Krishna, if one takes shelter of Mukunda, who gives moksha, Krishna, and who is that Mukunda? Krishna is saying that moksha isami masucha, I'll give you moksha. So that person must be Mukunda who spoke that. That is Krishna. So he's saying here that if one has taken shelter of Krishna, Mukunda, the giver of liberation, giving up all of obligations, and has taken to the path in seriousness, owes neither duties nor obligations to the demigods, sages, general living entities, family members, humankind and forefathers. Srimad Bhagavatam 11:5-41. So we don't have any obligations. They are all being benefited by us practicing devotional service. Prabhupada concludes here at the end, such obligations are automatically fulfilled by performing of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now do you see? It's automatically fulfilled by performing of devotional service. So I hope we clarified this point just with this one verse. There are many other pramanas, evidences, but I think this one verse is enough to justify why not. So what should be done then? One should try to get some Mahaprasad from the temple, and if one feels that one wants to do this as a tarpana, as an offering, then get some Mahaprasad from the temple and offer to the forefathers that you know and also others that you don't know, and by that benefit pray to Lord Krishna, Mukunda. Quote this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. I just quoted it to you now. So you can find this verse, read it out, and pray to Krishna to protect and safeguard and liberate your ancestors from any kind of difficulty. So if that will pacify you, one can do that. But if not, Prabhupada is justifying that it's not necessary. But we know people and we know how people feel and think, and if they want to do something, then this is what can be done. chanting the holy names of the Lord, remembering the Lord, and doing this kind of offering for their ancestors. This will be beneficial. So I hope you learned something from today's